And welcome back once again, Joe the Shirts, off the cuff. Welcome back, everybody. It is Tuesday, believe it or not. I think it's the 20th. I think might be the 21st. I lose track of dates very, very easily. Let me look at the paper here. It's the 21st. Look at that. I didn't even know what fucking date it was. Welcome back, everybody. It's good to have you all listening in, checking it out. Again, as I apologized yesterday, sorry for being gone so long, but I'm back. I'm here. I'm not queer. Get used to it. Hold on. Cerveza. Okay. As today's title indicates, No Limit Texas Hold'em will be part of the show today. It was inspired by events that transpired this morning. Generally speaking, if you know me at all, you know that I am a pretty much normal kind of guy. I've got my issues, maybe a few more than most. I do have a definite twisted darkness to me, but usually in a very fun kind of way, a very light kind of way. I'm not mean naturally. I'm not a mean person. I'm not a particularly cruel person. I can be bipolar some days. I think if you were to ask most people about me, they tell you I'm a pretty all right guy. I'm a good guy, decent person, generous, gregarious. But there's a flip side to that, because I can be very, very condescending, didactic, just a mean motherfucker some days. I can be cruel. It's absolutely true. But it takes a lot to get me there. All right? It really does. And I generally like to look at the big picture. I don't like to get mired in the minutia of my day-to-day life like a lot of people do, and you know who you are. But you try to avoid those little traps. But, that being said, I know that I'm not above occasionally being really rather petty. None of us are. And this is what happened to me today. I was playing online poker, No Limit Texas Hold'em, great game, which I learned how to play while staying in a motel room in Missouri, watching TV. I was in Missouri for about 4 days, and I ended up in a motel room. And I, had a lot of time on my hands because the trip didn't work out quite the way I originally planned. But a lot of the TV during the day was Texas Hold'em. And I would watch it, and I got into it, and I learned how to play it. And I read a few books. I got decently good at it. As a matter of fact, I used to make a living writing a daily blog about poker. People paid me money to, play poker, read about poker, watch poker videos, read poker magazines, analyze poker. I mean, that was my job. I did that for about a year, and it was a gang of fun. Then the company that I worked for switched to an all gambling site, and they decided they didn't need bloggers anymore, and they fired me. And then within a year, they went out of business. So, fuck them. But there's that pettiness again. But anyway, today I'm playing online poker, not for real money now, for a few reasons. I used to play for real money online, but I discovered that for a lot of people, the fact that it was for real money didn't really seem to make a difference in their heads. They played as if it was fake money, and they would take on these ridiculous risks and, just go all out, and I'd lose my mind, watching people make moves at the tables that I would never see at a live table in a live casino. All right, so I stopped playing for cash. I just play for fun online. Also, it's illegal here in California to play online poker. Actually, the only state in the union that it is legal to play poker officially is Nevada right now. I think it's ultimatepoker.com is the site that you can play legally, but only if you happen to be within the state of Nevada. They're looking to spread that out. And also, another reason I don't play live is because when the big three poker sites went down, busted by the federal government, it turned out that they were running a scam where they didn't actually have enough money to pay off their players, and a lot of players got screwed out of their money, including poker legend Phil Ivey, who had several $1 million in one of these sites, and he couldn't get his money back. Anyway, I digress. This morning I'm playing, and I'm on a non-cash site. It's just for fun. It was I think Pure Play Poker, which is actually a pretty nice site. Actually, if you just want to play for fun, good way to go. You start out on Pure Play with something like 1,000 or 3,000 fake dollars, and through playing in tournaments and table games and what have you. There are single table tournaments, multi-table tournaments, just cash games, whatever, and you can build up your bankroll. I've built mine up to about $5.5 million, just playing for fun. Which, like I said, until you really play poker for money, you're not really playing poker. Until you really feel as if you have something to lose, you're not really playing. Anyway, so this morning I'm playing, and in case you don't know how No Limit Texas Hold'em works, or if you don't know how poker works, it's real simple. You start out with your starting hands. You have your high card. Highest card you can have, of course, is an ace, and then it goes all the way down to the deuce. Ace, king, queen, jack, 10, et cetera, all the way down to the deuce. Next hand you have would be a pair. After that, you have two pair. After that, you have three of a kind, which would be, say, three queens, three fours. You get the idea. After that, you would have a straight. A straight is 5 cards in a row. Ace, deuce, 3, 4, 5, 9, 10, jack, queen, king, and so forth. The highest straight you can get is ace through the 10. After that, you start coming up against flushes. A flush is 5 cards, all of the same suit. It doesn't have to be in any particular order. It could be a 2, a 9, a 7, a 5, and a 4. But as long as they're all clubs, they're all aces, all hearts, all spades, you have a flush. The high card flush is the defining card. So if you have 10 club flush, but the other guy has a queen high flush, the queen high wins. All right, moving on. Then we have the full boat or the full house, which is having a pair or 3 of a kind in your hand. All right. After that, you get 4 of a kind. Very rare, almost impossible to get, which would be say 4 queens, 4 deuces, 4 fours, 4 aces. Obviously, aces are the highest, deuces are the lowest. And then, of course, you have your straight flush, which would be 5 cards in a row, all of the same suit. And, of course, the highest straight flush is the royal flush, which would be the ace, king, queen, jack, 10, all the same suit. Boom. Those are the cards. Those are the hands. Now, No Limit Texas Hold'em, in case you were wondering. I know I'm doing a whole thing on Texas Hold'em here before I even tell you the fucking story. The way it's played is you get 2 cards. Those are your hole cards. You look at the cards, you determine what you have, and then you see a flop. The flop is 3 cards put in the middle that you get to play with. You get to decide which cards you want to use in your hand, as does everybody else. Then you get the next card, which is called the turn. And then there's a round of betting, just like there was on the flop and before the flop. And then you get the river, which is the 5th card on the board. That's the last card. And then there's another round of betting. And then everybody figures out whether or not they're in, they fold, they show, they win, they lose. Boom, that's it. So today, I'm playing, and I get ace-jack in my hole. Those are my cards. I decide, everybody just calls $30. I raise it to $120. The guy next to me calls it, and the guy after that raises it to $800. Okay, I'm thinking about this. It's about another $700 for me to call, just under. And I'm thinking, okay, you know what? I have 1,500 here. I put in 700. That's about half my stack. If it doesn't work out for me, I can fold. Not a problem. So I call. The other guy folds. All right, so it's me and one other guy. The flop comes up, the first 3 cards. It's an ace, a blank card, and a jack. I got top 2 pair. I'm feeling pretty good here. So I decide to bet 300. He decides to raise me 300 more. I push all in for the full 1,500 fake dollars now, and he calls it. We flip over our cards. He has ace king. He has top pair with top kicker, but I have a better hand. I have 2 pair, aces and jacks. All right. The turn comes. It's a blank. The river comes. It's a king. I lose. He wins. I'm out of the game. First hand. All right. And I was perfectly happy with that. I liked the way I played. I liked the way it worked out. The guy just got lucky at the end. You know, that happens. That's poker. But then what happens is this guy feels that he can criticize my play. What he does is he asks, you know, how is it somebody feels justified in calling a raise with ace jack? And then another guy comments, well, obviously he's not that good a player. This is in reference to me. Now, Pure Play allows you to click on the icons of the other players, and it will show you how much money and experience they have behind them. Now, between these 2 guys, they did not have $1 million behind them together. I had 5.5. So I write to them. I don't think, you know, 2 guys that don't even have $1 million between them has any place criticizing me. You know. And besides, you just got lucky on the river. And the guy's like, well, you know, you got to play all cards. You know, it just doesn't make any sense to me. And I think what was really pissing me off here, not that I lost, that's fine, but that this guy was such a poor winner. You know, he couldn't just be gracious about it. He couldn't just be, you know, he couldn't just say, hey, good hand, or hey, tough luck, or I got lucky, which is the appropriate thing to do there. No, he decided he was gonna poke the bear a bit, you know, and it just bugged me, you know. I understand sore losers. A sore loser I understand, because a sore loser just lost. He's pissed off. He's angry. It makes sense to me that he has something to bitch about, you know. I'll only listen to it for just so long, but you know, but everybody's got a right to vent when things go bad for them. That's fine. But when somebody does well and then feels as if he can, you know, criticize you for what you did, it's just poor sportsmanship, you know. It's just a shitty thing to do. I think if you win at something, celebrate, have a good time. You know, matter of fact, rub it in people's faces. Go ahead, but to go around criticizing the other person, you know, talking about them in a negative way, I think that is really petty and small, and that made me angry today because, like I said, this is all fake money. You know, $5.5 million fake dollars is worth exactly 0 real dollars. Okay, so it's not a big deal that way. And hell, I'll be the first one to admit, I lose more tournaments than I win. Obviously, I've won enough to build up my bankroll to $5.5 million, but you know, you're still going to lose more often than not. The best players in the world, more often than not, still lose. So, and that's fine. But my point was, can't you just be gracious when you win? Can't you just be a good sport when you win? You know, there's no need to like criticize me to me. You know, if you want to talk to your girlfriend who's next to you, you know, while you're at the computer and make fun of me and poke fun of me, fine, go ahead. I can't hear you. But, you know, but to actually, you know, write on your little space there for a dialogue, you know, that you think that my play was shit, I'm like, you know what? You should appreciate, if that my play is shit, then you should appreciate it. Because when you do things like that, all that means is that shitty players don't want to play with you anymore. And when the shitty players don't want to play with you anymore, you don't get their money. And when you don't get their money, the shitty players, that means you got to play the better players. And the better players are going to be a lot tougher on you, and you're going to make less money. So really, a little decorum out there. That's all I'm asking for. And on that, I'm going to drop this topic. I'm going to take a break. And we're going to enjoy a little music from this group is called Fresh Body Shop. You heard their first song earlier on, Angry Machine. And this is their next song, Dr. X. I'm Joe the Shirt, and I'm off the cuff.
Nobody really knows which is the best way to heal. There's a dead end in no directions. Now get yourself away, I'm just having a bad day. So many things I don't want to deal with. So many medications I've tried and I found in vain. I met a wizard, I met Mr. X. Now I can feel the magic flowing through my veins. Now I'm a ghost, now I'm away. It's turning my pain into something fun. Now I forgot all about me. It feels like my feet don't touch the ground. Now I'm a ghost, now I'm away. I think I'm becoming someone else. Now I forgot all about me. Coming to myself.
And once again, welcome back to Joe the Shirt's Off the Cuff. And that was, once again, Fresh Body Shop, their song, Dr. X. I'm actually enjoying these guys today. They're kind of, I dig their vibe, you know what I mean? All right, moving on. Now we're going to move on past my own little personal gripes here and there and delve into one of my favorite topics, our personal rights. And they are, once again, being stomped on. You know, we as adults, our rights are being stomped on yet again. Now, I don't know if you are aware of this, but the federal government is currently on a very quiet mission to lower the threshold for DUI. Did you know this? Now, currently, it is 0.08%. That is the threshold for legally drunk while driving in the United States across all states. Okay? And they are trying to lower that to, are you ready for this? 0.05%. That is correct. That is what they're going for. They are pushing it to go to 0.05%, also known as you get off work, you meet your buddy at the local bar, you chit-chat for a little bit, you have one beer, and get right after you get done with your beer, you get into your car, you get pulled over, you take a sobriety test, you blow a 0.05, one beer, and you get a free trip to jail. Well, at least the trip to jail is there. Getting out of jail and staying out of jail will be far from free. The average person arrested for DUI spends about between $10,000 and $15,000. Okay? Now, why are they doing this? Well, because they, according to Deborah Hersman, chairwoman of the National Transportation Safety Board, quote, most Americans think that we've solved the problem of impaired driving, but in fact, it's still a national epidemic. An epidemic, mind you. It's a national epidemic. I'm calling bullshit on this one. I truly am. Now, is there a disproportionate amount of vehicular deaths involving drunk driving? Yes, there is. Out of all deaths involved in with vehicles, 30% of those are, according to the National Transportation Safety Board, also known as the NTSB, 30% of those are from drunk driving. Okay, that's a decently large percentage of vehicular deaths. Okay, I get that. But now, how many people actually die per year from drunk driving? You guys got a guess out there? Any clues whatsoever? Anybody? Yeah, what do you think? What do you think? About 1 million? 500,000? 100,000? 50,000? 20? Okay. 10,000? No. In the year, among the more recent reports we have here, in 2011, 9,878 people were killed in drunk driving crashes, including about 774 right here in California. I gotta tell you, I can't bring myself to care about those fucking numbers. Honestly, we live in a country of well over 300 million. 10,000. I'd be surprised if you told me 10,000 people don't die every day in the United States. That's a stat I'm going to find out. I want to find out how many people die each and every single fucking day in this country. We're talking about under 10,000 people killed because of drunk driving. Statistically speaking, that isn't shit. I'm sorry, it's not. I mean, I understand there are many of you out there who have been involved in crashes with drunk drivers, who know somebody that was killed by a drunk driver, but statistically speaking, it doesn't equal a hill of beans, okay? It really, really doesn't. I'm not saying it's a good idea. I'm not saying it's a good idea to go out there and drive while you're drunk. But I'm saying that there's impairment and then there's driving drunk. I mean, there's a lot of times that people don't drink and are quite impaired when it comes to driving. Like, say they're taking cold medication. Should they be driving? Probably not. Say they've put in 2 double shifts. They've been up for the last 36 hours. They've been working like doctors do, EMTs do, sometimes firemen, police officers do. They're up for 36 hours, and they decide, okay, I'm done with work, time to drive home. That's being impaired. Right? That is right there, I think, way more dangerous than having a beer or two before you go home. I mean, and let's be honest here. I mean, people go to bars every day. People go to bars and they have a few drinks. Maybe they have quite a few drinks. Maybe they have 4 or 6 drinks, 4 or 6 beers, shots, whatever. And yeah, maybe they wait a little while, maybe they have a little something to eat, and then they drive home. Maybe it's a short drive home, maybe they're not that impaired. But, it happens. And now what's going to happen here, let's see, Senator Frank R. Lothenberg from New Jersey says that he is going to reintroduce legislation that would ratchet up pressure on states to require interlocks for minimum 6 months for all drunk driving offenders. Okay, he wants to put interlocks into the vehicles of drunk driving offenders so that, for the first 6 months, basically you get into your car, you have to blow into a tube, and then the car will let you know whether or not it feels like letting you drive. And now, this is something I don't like. States that do not comply would see cuts to their highway funds, which, by the way, is how the 0.08% alcohol got made into law in the first place. Federal government bullied the states, because it's up to the individual states to determine what the legal limit is. Up until 1990, here in California, the legal limit was 0.10%. Okay? 0.10%. It got put down to 0.08 because the federal government bullied the entire country, and told them, look, either you bring it down to 0.08 or we're going to cancel your funding for your freeways and your highways, and you can go fuck yourself, and your drunk drivers can go driving all over shitty roads. That's what happened there. So it bugs me, because I got to tell you, I've known people that have blown 0.08 and they were nowhere near the word drunk, nowhere near the word impaired. It's just what their blood alcohol level was, and I call bullshit on that one. Now, another new law that's coming up here, then this one's pissing me off as well, is there are forces out there that are very clandestinely and not so clandestinely trying to get a ban on smoking, which we already know there is. There's a ban on smoking in public places, in airplanes, in restaurants, in buildings, all these places, bars, and they're putting bans on public parks and beaches, and we all know about that. But what you may not know about is that as I've covered before, there are bans in certain cities and states where the owner of a building put a ban on smoking within your own apartment. Your apartment that you pay money for every month. they can put a ban on the entire building, and if you don't like it, they can, evict you. And they're trying to pass legislation here in California where any building, any residence that shares a common wall or ventilation with any other person in the building, your neighbors, the person next to me, the person next to me on the left, the person next to me on the right, the person above me, the person below me, if I'm a smoker, and even though this is a condo and I own it, they can put a citywide or a statewide ban saying that you can't smoke in your own fucking home unless you live in a standalone house. Now, you think it's not going to get any worse than that, do you? Well, you know what? It just did. There's now legislation that they're trying to pass, trying to get up before the Senate and Congress, and it's already passed in some states. It might be even in your state, where they're trying to ban electronic cigarettes. That's right, smokeless cigarettes. They're trying to put a ban on smokeless cigarettes. No smoke, no carcinogens. All it is water, grain alcohol, nicotine, and flavoring. And that's it. That's all that's in there. No carcinogens, no smoke, nothing, none of that noise. You smoke it, it superheats the water. You take it in, you get your nicotine rush, you blow it out, boom, you're done. No smoke. They're trying to ban that as well. And what really bothers me is that, like I said, they're trying to ban it not just, they're trying to ban it in restaurants, in public buildings, federal buildings, airplanes, buses, trains, where it's legal right now. But they're trying to put that under the tobacco laws, which is ridiculous to me because these things contain no tobacco. No tobacco, no smoke, so I don't think it should be put under those particular laws. But here they are, and what really pisses me off about it is what they're doing here is they're not is the banner they're using to force their agenda upon us, which is, of course, the oldest and most productive banner around, the children. We have to protect the children. Somebody please protect the children. You've probably seen that one fucking ad on TV where this woman is just quietly, peacefully in her own apartment, smoking a cigarette, and then you see the trail of the cigarette go out of her window, go out over her balcony. It moves up, then it moves over to the left, and then it goes into somebody else's apartment and into the face and lungs and nose of a baby. Okay, what kind of manipulative bullshit is that? Are you fucking with me? I'm sorry. No. I have lived by myself many times in my life, and I've had neighbors that smoked, and more often than not, I couldn't fucking tell. I really, really couldn't. Okay? You know where I can tell that someone's smoking? When they're smoking weed, and it pisses me off because they don't invite me over. So, I'm sick and tired of people using the children as their banner for, just pretty much forcing all of us to do whatever it is the fuck they want. I'm sick and tired of it. You can't smoke. You can't drink in public unless you happen to be in, Nevada, Las Vegas. You can't go to the park and just enjoy yourself as a single male. I can get harassed by both the police and private citizens if I happen to be in the park, minding my own business, and there are children playing in front of me. All of a sudden, I'm a weird creep. Okay? I'm a weird creep because I'm a single male, alone, in the park, just hanging out, enjoying the park, the public park. But under those circumstances, parents feel comfortable coming up to me, asking me what the hell I'm doing there. Do I have any kids of my own? And if I don't, maybe I should leave. And then they feel comfortable to maybe call the cops and tell me to move along, even though it's a public park. The children are being used as a manipulation tool for these little whiny bitches that feel as if they're entitled to their own park, their own movie theaters, their own restaurants. Everything should be, tailored towards them because we have to protect the children. Gotta protect the children. In any case, I'm going to take a little break right now. Here's more Fresh Body Shop and their song Mary. I'm Joe the Shirt. I'm off the cuff, and I'll be right back.
Mary had a pretty symphony, spoken words and gracious melody. What she sung is always in my head, somewhere in the depths of my brain. Now she's sleeping many steps away, with every song of hate and love in mind. So many things I love to hear again. If only I could make her go back. My spark is dead. Inside of my head there's nothing, only noise that I music. Won't you pull my strings once again? Mary was my muse and I miss her. I can do anything by myself. She could take possession of my mind, of my disposable body. I still have a few things left for her, piece of hair and small flecks of her skin. So many times I'd love to feel again. If only I could make her.
And Joe the Shirt is off the cuff, and he's back. Welcome back, everybody. Gotta protect the children. Gotta protect the children. Those little bastards. Fuck them. Who's going to protect us from the children, actually? I got two stories here. I'm not going to go through them in detail, but I got one here. The story of Cynthia Alvarez, 16 years old, who, along with her boyfriend, murdered her mother and stepfather to the point where not only did they stab him to death, they stomped him, killed him, and then they went party shopping. Cynthia and her boyfriend went party shopping. Let's see, what's her boyfriend's name? Do we have that here? Oh, it doesn't really matter. Anyway, she kills her mother with the help of her boyfriend and her stepfather, and then go party shopping for Halloween. They wanted to decorate the house for Halloween, and they do this with her mother's body in the trunk of their car that they go to the store to buy Halloween decorations. Okay, all right. According to Cynthia, the reason she did it was self-defense, citing a history of physical and sexual abuse. No evidence of this was found. Honestly, it was she just hated doing what she was told. That's really what it amounts to. And she was convicted. Good. Okay, so another story. Who's going to protect us from the children? How about this? How about the murder of Layla Fowler? Layla Fowler, 8 years old, stabbed to death in her house by her 12-year-old brother. That's right. He stabbed her to death. Then claimed that somebody else did it. Claimed that somebody burst into the house, killed her, and then ran out, and then gave a description of the guy. It's always the same description when it comes to when it comes to lying about a murder. It's always like some drifter-looking guy, long, scraggly hair, had a beard, looked kind of shifty. It's always the same guy, by the by. All right, so, but yeah, they've looked into it and they've determined that the kid, the 12-year-old, her own brother, is the one that did it. Neighbors, one Fidel Taylor, suspected the kid from the get-go. He said, quote, "When it first happened, it was a shock. A stranger coming into a home and slaughtering a little girl.
but the story didn't make sense. Taylor told his 2 children that they were safe, that he suspected the boy was responsible, and warned them to stay away from him. He was like, I was like, come on. Do you really think there was a knife-wielding stranger out there and you're keeping our kids scared to death? And yeah, it was the kid. The kid did it. Who's going to protect us from the kids? And who's going to protect us from our mothers? I think this is a story I covered before. I'm just going to come up with it one more time. Kobe Bryant, no longer in the playoffs. Lakers sucked it. But he is in a legal battle with his mother over his possessions. Most of them being, memorabilia from his high school, college days, and a couple of championships. Apparently, there's a couple of championship rings, that his mother decided to sell at auction. Estimated value about $450,000. The reason being, she lives in Nevada, I think near Las Vegas, and Kobe bought his mother a house, despite the fact that her and Kobe's father were against the idea of Kobe marrying a Latina, so a little racism there, didn't attend his wedding, and was resentful of them having children. But Kobe tried to mend the fences there and bought his mom a house. She decided that it wasn't nice enough. The house that Kobe bought for her wasn't nice enough. This free house that he gave her wasn't nice enough. So she decided she would sell a bunch of his old shit at auction because she claims that Kobe gave it to her. Kobe denies this. She claims that it was a financial hardship because she was keeping it all in storage, and it was costing her, $600 a month to store all this stuff. And I'm like, that really isn't a lot of stuff. What costs $600 exactly per month to store, short of a car? But yeah, makes you wonder if she got she got a card this year for Mother's Day. Got to protect the children from the mothers, apparently. And in entertainment news, now we all know that Jimmy Fallon is going to be taking over for Jay Leno on The Tonight Show. The Tonight Show moving from Los Angeles to New York, and taking over Jimmy Fallon's spot, Seth Meyers, also from SNL, will be taking over the late night show from Jimmy Fallon. And my question is, I always thought those were the same 2 guys. I thought it was the same guy, personally. Seth Meyers, Jimmy Fallon. Isn't that the same guy? I mean, really, they're just putting in a doppelganger where Jimmy Fallon is right now. Yeah, well, good for them. Okay, then we're back again to personal rights and privileges and what have you. Now, this is actually, before I get into that, I want to talk about Tiger Woods really quickly. I know not a sports show, but Tiger Woods, by the way, 78 tour victories, 4 shy of Sam Snead's record, and he's already won, I think, 4 or 5 this year. And for all you haters out there that keep saying that Tiger's career is over, he'll never be as good as he was, he's number 1 in the world, 5 tour victories this year, 4 away from the record. Fuck y'all. Anyway. Oh, God, we got a couple here. All right. Now, you guys may have heard about Abercrombie & Fitch. The clothing line, very popular among the 18 to 49-year-olds out there, which is like the key demographic in everything, movies, TV, clothes, selling anything, electronics. That's who people want. That's who the companies want. Well, apparently, Michael S. Jeffries, who's the CEO of Abercrombie & Fitch, has kept a very steady line when it comes to who he wants to sell his clothes to. Now, there's been a lot of pissy people bitching and moaning about the fact that Abercrombie & Fitch doesn't offer extra large or extra large sizes for women, instead catering towards young, good-looking customers. According to this, A&F is an inspirational brand that, like most specialty apparel brands, targets its marketing at a particular segment of customers. Ahem. However, we care about the broader community in which we operate and are strongly committed to diversity and inclusion. No, they're not. Abercrombie & Fitch, if you've ever been by any of their stores, they cater towards young, good-looking people. If you've ever been by the stores, you've seen the models standing out there. These muscular, half-naked, 20-something-year-old guys, which I don't know exactly how that sells clothes, but it does, and they're doing quite well. Thank you very much. A lot of this had gone under the bridge. People were beginning to forget about it, and then somebody brought up an old interview from 2006 in which, in Salon magazine, in which the piece said that absolutely the brand is exclusionary. This is Michael S. Jeffries saying this. Quote, candidly, we go after the cool kids. We go after the attractive, all-American kid with a great attitude and lots of friends. A lot of people don't belong in our clothes, and they can't belong. He follows this up with another quote. Michael S. Jeffries, he says, I sincerely regret that my choice of words was interpreted in a manner that has caused offense. We are completely... Well, what other way do you think we're going to take it exactly? Now, mind you, I don't care. I really don't. I think that Abercrombie & Fitch should be able to sell clothes in whatever style and size that they feel like. They do not have to offer sizes to everybody. It's not necessary. Their brand is young, good-looking people. That's who they're, catering to. And if you happen to be an old fat bitch, fuck you. I'm sorry. They don't have to cater to you. This is not, this is nothing against you personally. If you happen to be fat and old and fat and ugly and whatever, it's nothing against you. This is who they are targeting. This is the business they decided to go in. Okay, I mean for fat people to get angry with Abercrombie & Fitch would be like me going to a big and tall store and saying, hey, how come you don't have clothes for short, scrawny assholes like me? Because we don't. Because it's a big and tall store, okay? It's made for really big, fat dudes, which I'm not. I'm a short, scrawny little shit. So if I go to a big and tall store and I can't find clothes for myself, well, no duh. You don't go to... You don't go to, who is it? Victoria's Secret, and look for a lacy nightie in a quadruple extra large because they don't make it, because they don't want quadruple extra large people in sexy clothes. Go to the big and tall shop for women. All right, that's where you'll find that. So no, I don't blame Michael Jeffries and Abercrombie & Fitch for their business model. Good for them. It's their right to make clothes however they want. And if you happen to be too fucking fat to fit in them, go on a diet. And finally, actually I'm going to leave that one for tomorrow. And finally, another one of my favorite topics, religion. The Catholic Church has recently canonized 813 martyrs. And if you don't know what canonizing means, it means that they've been made into saints. The Pope has canonized 813 martyrs, including 2 Latin American women. Now, the 800 of the remaining 811, these were Christians that rejected switching to Islam. This was during the time where the Moors were taking over much of Europe, kicking the living shit out of the Europeans, taking over, and trying to force Christians to convert to Islam. These 811 guys said, no, we're not going to do it. They were beaten, they were tortured, they were killed, and then died, And now our new Pope, Pope Francis, has decided that these are your new 811 saints, and then the 2 chicks from Latin America. 813 new saints. I think that kind of cheapens the idea of sainthood, doesn't it? I mean, really think about it. That's like getting a toy in your Happy Meal. Is it really a big deal anymore? I've looked up the saints, and there are literally thousands of saints. There is literally a saint for everything. Okay, we're talking. There's a saint for Christmas, Santa Claus. There's a saint for Valentine's Day, Valentine. There is a saint for hangnails. There is a saint for hiccuping. There is a saint for warts. All right? There is a saint for everything. And a lot of times these saints have nothing to do with what they're a saint for. They just happen to be saints. But let's take their name and use it for bad breath. Saint of bad breath. They actually do that. I'm telling you, there's a saint for that as well. Once again, proving that religion is, really just kind of stupid as far as I'm concerned. If it works for you, good for you, but it don't work for me. Anyway, that's it for me. This is our last song today, Never End Up Like This by Fresh Body Shop. I'm Joe the Shirt. Thanks for listening. I've been Off the Cuff.